Hi everyone, welcome to the Celebrity Diaries. Pope Francis, born George Mario Bergoglio on December 17, 1936, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, is the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. He made history on March 13, 2013, by becoming the first Pope from the Americas, the first Jesuit Pope, and the first non-European Pope in over 1,200 years. His papacy has been marked by a commitment to humility, social justice, and a renewed focus on compassion over dogma. From his early life in Argentina to his transformative leadership of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis has become one of the most influential religious figures of the 21st century. Early life and education. George Mario Bergoglio was born to Italian immigrants Mario Jose Bergoglio and Regina Mar A.S. Vori. His father was a railway worker, and his family lived a modest life. He grew up in a deeply Catholic household, attending public schools and showing early signs of religious devotion. In his youth, Bergoglio studied chemistry and worked briefly as a chemical technician. At the age of 21, he suffered a severe illness that led to the removal of part of one of his lungs, a formative experience that deepened his spirituality and commitment to God. Feeling a strong call to the priesthood, he entered the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, in 1958. He was ordained a priest in 1969 and pursued extensive academic and theological training, earning degrees in philosophy and theology. He taught literature, psychology, and theology in Jesuit schools, where he developed a reputation as a humble and intellectual leader. Rise within the Church. Bergoglio served in various leadership roles within the Jesuit order and the Argentine Church. He became the provincial superior of the Jesuits in Argentina from 1973 to 1979, during which time he navigated the complexities of Argentina's military dictatorship, a period marked by widespread human rights abuses. Although later criticized for not doing enough to protect fellow clergy during the Dirty War, Bergoglio was known to have secretly helped people escape persecution. These actions, combined with his tendency to shun political ambition, and instead prioritize pastoral care, enhanced his reputation as a man of conscience and quiet heroism. In 1992, he was appointed auxiliary bishop of Buenos Aires and became archbishop in 1998. By 2001, Pope John Paul II elevated him to the College of Cardinals, further solidifying his role within the global church. Despite holding significant ecclesiastical positions, Bergoglio chose a simple lifestyle, cooking his own meals, taking public transportation, and living in a small apartment rather than the Archbishop's palace. Election as Pope. Following the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI in 2013, a conclave was convened to elect his successor. On March 13, 2013, after 5 ballots, Cardinal Bergoglio was elected Pope. He took the name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi, signaling a papacy that would focus on poverty, humility, and peace. His first public appearance as Pope was remarkable for its simplicity. He wore a plain white cassock and asked the crowd to pray for him before giving them his blessing. From the outset, Pope Francis signaled a new tone for the papacy, less pomp and more people-focused. Papal themes and priorities. Pope Francis has redefined the priorities of the Catholic Church in several critical areas. Compassion over judgment. Pope Francis has famously emphasized a merciful approach to moral issues. When asked about gay priests in 2013, he responded, "This response exemplified his pastoral approach, welcoming all rather than condemning them." Focus on the poor. Central to Francis's papacy is a preferential option for the poor. He has consistently called for economic justice, denounced consumerism, and urged global leaders to address inequality. His 2015 encyclical Laudato Si' also emphasized the link between environmental stewardship and the plight of the poor. Environmental advocacy. Laudato Si' was groundbreaking. It was the first papal document devoted entirely to the environment. In it, Pope Francis urged humanity to care for our common home, warning of climate change and the exploitation of natural resources. Reform of the Vatican. Pope Francis has worked to clean up Vatican finances, increase transparency, and address internal corruption. He has also taken a firm stance on the sexual abuse scandals that have plagued the Church, though his actions have received mixed reviews in terms of effectiveness and scope. Interfaith dialogue. Pope Francis has prioritized dialogue with other religions. He has met with leaders of Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, and Orthodox Christianity, promoting peace and mutual understanding. In 2019, he signed a historic document on human fraternity with Grand Imam Ahmad al-Tayeb in Abu Dhabi. Synodality and inclusiveness. A major theme of his leadership is synodality, governing through shared discernment and dialogue rather than top-down mandates. He has encouraged bishops to listen to their congregations and has opened discussions on controversial topics such as married priests, the role of women, and LGBTQ+ inclusion. Controversies and criticism. Despite his global popularity, Pope Francis has faced criticism from both conservative and progressive factions within the Church. From conservatives, many traditional Catholics view Francis as too liberal, especially on issues such as communion for divorced and remarried Catholics, his tone toward LGBTQ+ individuals, and his more flexible interpretations of doctrine. Some bishops have publicly opposed his positions, leading to visible divisions within the hierarchy. From progressives, on the other hand, some liberal Catholics argue that Francis hasn't gone far enough in reforming the Church. They cite his lack of significant progress on women's ordination, clerical celibacy, and full acceptance of LGBTQ+ people. Handling of abuse cases. While Francis has taken significant steps to address the sexual abuse crisis, including defrocking high-profile abusers and meeting with survivors, some argue that his response has been inconsistent. High-profile cases, such as those involving bishops in Chile, have drawn scrutiny and criticism. Global influence. Pope Francis is widely regarded as one of the most influential moral voices in the world. His papacy extends beyond religious matters and into global politics and humanitarian issues. Leaders of all faiths and political ideologies have sought his counsel or reacted to his pronouncements. He has spoken before the U.S. Congress, addressed the United Nations, and visited conflict zones, including the Central African Republic and Iraq. In 2021, he became the first pope to visit Iraq, promoting reconciliation and interfaith harmony in a war-torn nation. Lifestyle and personal character. True to the spirit of his namesake, Pope Francis lives modestly. He chose not to reside in the lavish apostolic palace, and instead lives in the simpler Casa Santa Marta guest house within the Vatican. He drives a modest car, avoids luxury, and continues to display a sense of humor and humility in public appearances. He is known for making spontaneous phone calls to ordinary people who write to him, slipping out of the Vatican at night to minister to the homeless, and personally washing the feet of prisoners, refugees, and the disabled during Holy Thursday services. Major publications and encyclicals. Evangelii Gaudium, The Joy of the Gospel, 2013, a call for evangelization in today's world, inclusivity, and the need to reach out to the marginalized. Laudato Si, Praise Be to You, 2015, a passionate plea for environmental protection and a new economic model rooted in ecological responsibility. Amoris Laetitia, The Joy of Love, 2016, reflections on family life, marriage, and the pastoral care of diverse family situations, including divorced Catholics. Fratelli Tutti, All Brothers, 2020, a call for global solidarity, fraternity, and a rejection of war, racism, and nationalism. Legacy and impact. Pope Francis's legacy is still unfolding, but it is clear he has already reshaped the Catholic Church's global image. His efforts to reorient the Church toward a more inclusive, merciful, and socially conscious future have resonated deeply with millions. He has reinvigorated interest in Catholicism among disaffected believers and drawn praise from secular figures for his leadership on global issues. Yet his legacy will also depend on how effectively he manages internal church reforms, addresses the abuse crisis, and sets a lasting foundation for future popes to build upon. Pope Francis is a spiritual leader of remarkable compassion, vision, and humility. He has embraced the complexities of modern life with a pastoral heart and intellectual openness, striving to make the Catholic Church a more inclusive and responsive institution. While navigating significant opposition and challenges, he remains a symbol of hope, not only for Catholics, but for people around the world seeking justice, peace, and spiritual renewal. Whether remembered as a revolutionary pope or a bridge between tradition and reform, Pope Francis's impact on the Church and the world is profound, enduring, and deeply human.